everyone, welcome back to the JayTech channel, and we've got a load of Apple news today, and welcome to Apple News Weekly number 3. Let's not waste any time because we have a lot of hot topics. Let's get straight in with it. Starting off with some sad news. Now, if you know about this or you live in those areas, LA. First off, I would like to say I'm hoping that everyone that was living in LA and their houses got burnt down, hopefully that they've been able to find somewhere to stay for the time until they could get their home sweet home back. And also, we're coming from a report from Apple as well. They have said that in response to this wildfire and this national disaster, they have decided to try and give some money towards it. It comes from 2 posts that came from Tim Cook himself, and I'll read them out to you. The devastation caused by the fire in Los Angeles is heartbreaking. And then in the next one, he said, "Thank you to the incredible firefighters, first responders, and all those assisting for your heroic effects. Apple will be donating to support the victims and recover effects on ground." So that is what Apple's doing. If you don't know, Apple usually takes part in these national disasters and try and give some money back. And usually they go with donating to America Red Cross, which is where these purposes of national disasters and all these sort of things always happen. So just keeping that in mind. And one more thing we have about the fire, which is Apple Card payments. Now, if you have an Apple Card, they're allowing you to temporarily postpone any payments that you have coming out of the account. All you have to do is just apply for it. There'll be no interest accumulated on anything that you do on the card, so just keep that in mind. The APR will start to apply from next month, so just keeping that in mind. So at the moment, every single payment that you make or that you do on the card or that you have to pay off has no interest or no APR, nothing until next month. Now let's move on to some Apple news that's been going on. First off, starting with they're holding an event, which is their Apple shareholder meeting on February the 26th. This will be at 8 a.m. Pacific time, according to the SEC filings that was released around about a few days this week. Now, I'm not going to go into any more detail about this because this is not really for us as the end consumer to really worry about, but that's something just to keep in mind. Apple today announced that they have released a brand new store in Miami, which is in Worldcenter complex. This is nearby city's downtown core, and it will be released and fully open on Friday the 24th of January. Now, obviously, their actual grand opening timing has not been disclosed at all, but it'll probably be likely around about 10 a.m. in the morning. Now, Apple has said that our brand new store in downtown Miami is opening soon, and get ready to explore a whole bunch of things in the heart of the city where nature thrives and creativity flourishes, and we can't wait to see what blooms in you. They've also released a wallpaper, which is also shown on screen, but I also have it on my devices. Literally all of my devices have this beautiful wallpaper on it as well. Now, to go alongside this, which it hasn't been confirmed, but since this is now coming out, we've learned that Apple retail stores plan to open in Florida goes slightly beyond that. Now, in early December, the actual company shut down their store in Florida, in Fort Lauderdale, and they reopened a new one just across the hall from it. And since then, it's been open from then. And there's been some news going on stating that that was just a temporary store, whilst they probably try and redesign that store or refurbish it all to make it look brand new and quite nice. So that's something just to keep in mind, that you might get a new store in Florida. Just around about a few days ago, a new release of a firmware update designed for the 25-watt MagSafe charger that is compatible with the iPhone 12 and going upwards, and also the latest AirPods and Apple Watch models. The firmware update version is now at 2A143, and the previous firmware update was 2A138. Now, we don't really know that much information about what this really done. It probably could have done something to the internals, meaning like maybe heat distribution or stopping your phone at something. All we know is that it's on the 25-watt charger and the 15-watt charger, so that's all we really know from this. Apple has also done a back to school sale or a back to uni sale. Promotion has also been returned in Australia, New Zealand, Brazil, and South Korea. That lasts from January the 8th to the 13th of March, and this qualifies with higher education students and stuff, you will need to verify your identity. So you will get a free pair of AirPods Pro 4 with noise cancellation if it is a MacBook purchase, or if it is a iPad purchase, either the iPad Pro or the iPad Air, you will receive a free Apple Pencil along with it. Now there is also some discounts as well where you get 20% off of Apple Care, which is absolutely amazing because sometimes if you drop your devices, you know, you could take it back. Just besides from, I've had a few problems with Apple Care that will come in a later video, because this thing I have on my wrist, this wasn't easy for me to get back. So we'll talk about that in another video because that will be a fun video to make. Coming back onto this thing that I have on my wrist, Apple is making another generation of the Apple Watch SE. Now, we haven't really got that much information about the Apple Watch SE as of now, but I can state that we are expecting to see this sometime in September. The only thing that we know about this right now is that it's supposed to be made out of plastic instead of aluminium or aluminum. This will hopefully make it probably just a tad bit cheaper, or if not, it will stay at the exact same price of $229, which is a nice area, especially if you're a kid. A parent might actually want to buy a plastic watch. Hopefully, we know Apple already, they're not going to make it out of cheap plastic. It'll be super high quality plastic that won't even look like plastic. It'll probably look like aluminum or aluminium, whatever you guys call it. Now, as I said before, this current Apple Watch SE that is on my wrist right now was launched in September 2022, and now it'll be September 2025 that this will be launched. So that's roughly around about like a 2-3 year refresh on the Apple Watch SE. And hopefully we see some more features, better performance, and also support for Apple Intelligence when it comes to it. Sticking along with the Apple Watch, we also have some sleep apnea features as well. So if you don't know about sleep apnea, it was a thing that came out, which personally I didn't think was a thing that I need to worry about until I realized that it's actually all over the place, and like 80% of the condition has not been discovered. It's now been accepted and approved in even more countries now. That includes Malaysia, and that's all we technically got from here. So more is coming, so don't worry if you haven't got sleep apnea just yet on your watch. It is coming. Before we jump on to the next thing, I should state that this will only work on the Apple Watch Ultra 1 and 2, and it will also work from the Series 9 going upwards to the latest one that there is. Okay, last year, Apple decided to unleash the much anticipated and also the thing that's always sold out, the Mac Mini. This was a massive product last year. We had loads of product reviews. We had loads of people even buying it from the store itself until it got sold out into actual places that sell it, like for example, Best Buy, Curry's in the UK, and other places like that. And it was very difficult to get, but that's not the case. The main thing I wanted to state is that with those upgrades, which is the M4, the M4 Pro, and also the 16 gigabytes of RAM that is thankfully included inside of the base model of the device, we're now starting to see people starting to ask for the Mac Studio, because why would it make sense if you go down when you go up again? Well, the point is that we are supposed to be seeing a Mac Studio coming out. Now, obviously, as it's in 2025, we could either see it with the M4, either they bring out a new chip, which is probably going to be the M4 Ultra, or they just make an entirely new chip with the M5 and probably bring out the M5 Pro at that point. Obviously, that is what we actually are anticipating. But if this comes out earlier and not in September, then we probably will just see an M4 Pro or an M4 Ultra on it. Now, this will obviously still come with its lovely features that it has just upgraded. That's the only thing. I don't think there was any USB Type A's anyway, but if there was, then that would be dead. But what I can state is that all the lovely features that we had, which is like over 100 gigabytes per second of transfer data using the Thunderbolt 5 ports on the front, will still be there, so do not worry. Also, we are getting support for Wi-Fi 7. I think the ones that are right now here have Wi-Fi 6E, but this does have Wi-Fi 7 in it, so you'll be absolutely fine with Wi-Fi and internet speed. Just literally everything. Everything will probably be the exact same or upgraded in the Mac Studio, so just keep that in mind. Now, something interesting is that this, yep, is an iPad. In particular, it is the iPad Air. But I can state that the iPad original, which is the 11-inch model, will probably be seeing the M4 in it, or if not, the M3. So on the Power On newsletter by Mark Gurman, he has reported this. The iPad is codenamed, which is J607, 08, 37, and 38 will be more about specification upgrades than design changes. The current version introduced last year has an M2 chip. I wouldn't be terribly surprised if the 2025 models get a bump up to the M4, matching the iPad Pro specifications. That would mean that the Pro has less of an edge over the Air, but that shouldn't be too much of a shock. Most Macs rely on the same chip family, and the iPads could do the same. This works in everyone's favor, to be honest, if everything was inside the lineup like how it was when the M1 chip came out, because that was when everything started to transition from Intel or over from their A chips over to their M1 chips. So hopefully we see this sort of coming out now, and hopefully we actually do skip the M3, or this is probably going to have some problems. And also it means that any one of the chips that they even put anyway will at least have Apple Intelligence in it, which is also a big major plus, especially for the pricing of the iPad 11-inch itself. Now, if you wanted to get yourself an iPhone 15, well, the discontinued iPhone 15 is now selling in France, Germany, Italy, and Spain, and it offers you to have a discontinued iPhone at a discounted price for the very first time since launched in 2023. So the iPhone 15, 15 Pro lineups are going to be selling in those countries, as I said. You will get a 15% discount off, as well as also a 1-year free warranty. This is like the Apple Care sort of thing. You will get a 1-year free warranty with it, and also it will come with a USB Type-C to C cable for you to obviously charge your phone. I can say that the iPhone 15 lineup is probably one of the best iPhone lineups that's come out so far, besides from the iPhone 16 lineup, but that is also a problem in itself, especially with the capture button and people not liking where it's placed. So the iPhone 15 is sort of your all-rounder altogether on the iPhone product lineups. And also the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max is probably the one that you want to go for if you want to have the latest and greatest features, especially with iOS 18.3. with also having the Apple Intelligence inside of it. Now, the Apple A series chips are starting to be produced in TSMC's Arizona plant, and also this is the first iPhone chip to ever be launched and also be mass produced inside of the US. Now, this report does suggest that the test production of these chips are new at TSMC's plant, which is nearby Phoenix, and has been almost completed. Apple is now in its final stages of making this verified, and that the quality and performance is very good. The first batch of this is almost done and is almost ready for mass production as of the early part of the first quarter. Hopefully we start seeing these chips being put inside of the iPhones. They're right now waiting for a test to come through to state that their quality is the exact same as the previous A chips made from a different mass producer. Now, I can say that the factory is expected to produce an A series chip used in the Apple devices, primarily for older iPhone models, and also recent reports suggest that the facility would have made the A16 Bionic chip for the iPhone 15 and Plus models of that phone, and also the S9 chip as well for Apple, out for mainly the Apple Watch Ultra 2. The mass production at Arizona's plant will make the first time an Apple Silicon chip is being manufactured in the US, as I said before. Now, before the news video ends, we have around about 3 more topics, and they're all to do with home equipment, or in this instance, CarPlay. Remember that first episode that we done, which was about CarPlay? Well, CarPlay has appeared out of nowhere again. And bear in mind, Apple's website still says that it is still expected in 2024. So that's great. But what I can say is that we have now seen some sort of signs of this being brought back to life with these sorts of images that's shown on screen. These are mainly from the CarPlay that is right now in development, and also it seems like we're getting widgets to this as well. Now, I can say that from 9 to 5 Mac recently reported that, as we said before, additional reference to the next generation of CarPlay was added in iOS 18.3's beta code, which was in the second version. Mac Rumors then contributed updated as well and uncovered some additional information about CarPlay's next generation with the images that's now shown on screen, and they were filled in as a EU database from last month. Apple previously showed that the next generation of CarPlay would include customizable widgets, and also the images provided give us a little bit of a closer look. So that has come from 9to5Mac and Mac Rumors. So hopefully this means that actually Apple CarPlay second generation actually does come out. What do you guys think inside the comments? Please let me know. Now, moving out of the car, coming inside the house, Gurman has recently reported that the Apple plans to release the next generation of the HomePod Mini and also the Apple TV this year. Hopefully we see more products this year and not less products as what we saw last year. So they have sort of like narrowed down the time frame of when we're supposed to be getting these two releases. At this present moment, it literally just says from Mark Gurman's newsletter that we are seeing this towards the ending of 2025. So that means we're gonna have to wait a whole entire year for new Apple home products, but it's not a big deal because the other ones are still working. Now, we are expected to see that the HomePod and also the Apple TV 2 be upgraded to the latest generation of Wi-Fi. Not the latest, but also the one that most people are now using, which is Wi-Fi 6E. And we're also probably gonna see them have a faster chip inside of them, probably a new A-series chip as well. And we're also supposed to be seeing a cheaper version of the Apple TV. We're expecting to see at least a $99 Apple TV come out, which should be very, very good because that means that it's competing against Amazon again with the Amazon Fire TV Stick. And the last thing on today's Apple Weekly News is from Apple with their home products. Now, they're long awaited and much anticipated products for the home accessories, which is coming from the iPad that they're making, which is supposed to have a new smart home OS, and also their new other bits and pieces, like for example their locks and security cameras and things like that. We're all supposed to be now seeing that in 2026 or probably very, very later on in 2025. To be honest, I sort of thought that this was going to happen because it's less likely that Apple brings out products this early on anyway, especially in around about this month, next month, or even the month after area. So that would make sense for this to happen. Now, at the time, there is a report that's going on stating that the products being discussed are from a whole bunch of different products. Obviously, Mark Gurman himself also discussed that there was around about several different projects that Apple was making, including having an iPad-like display with a robotic arm on it. Yeah, there was too much different things going on. So I think however this lineup just goes, we'll just see from there. But as I said before, don't get your hopes up too high on these Apple home products that's supposed to be coming out just now to make your life easier. Hopefully, these actually do support Matter in a way more better state as well. So probably this year, you might just see the operating system be launched in DubDub, and that is probably it. But Apple, I really do. Please don't do like what you've done with CarPlay, where you just left the operating system inside of WWDC and you didn't make any products. Obviously now you are, but don't take that long. Anyway, that is it for today's video. I'm hoping that you guys enjoyed today's weekly news. We have so much more videos coming out, from unboxing videos to product reviews to even probably some day in the lives as well. So just stick around for that. Please subscribe to the channel because it's much appreciated doing that. And also a big thank you to JayTech Productions for making this video possible. And as always, this has been your boy Jay, and I'll see you guys in another JayTech video. Peace.